Welcome to the podcast Daily. I am your host, Careshmeh, and today we have an award-winning writer, director, producer. He's a husband, he's a father, he's everything. Garrett Batty. I'm so excited to have you and to chit chat with you. But my first question for you.
Yes.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Oh, we will be such good friends.
Yeah, I didn't hesitate at all.
No,
but,
you did not. No, you did not. So, okay, you are a major filmmaker in the Utah and outside of Utah industry. You are a native Utahn, but you have lived outside of Utah.
Yes.
LA, you were there in LA, and you were doing editing, TV, pilots, and trailers, and DVDs. What brought you back to Utah?
Ooh, good question. At the time, we didn't know what brought us back to Utah. My wife and I were out there in LA. We lived in Burbank. We absolutely loved it.
You loved it, okay.
Just loved it. Loved the people that we were working with, and loved the people that we lived near.
And what's the time frame on this?
2000. Early
2000.
Yep.
Okay.
Right after college, we moved out there without knowing a soul, and we're very grateful to have been able to find work and land on our feet, and become feel like we were functioning contributors to to the industry out there.
And tell me a little bit about some of these jobs you had. Who were you working with?
Well, to start, to go out there, I mean, we were given some wise advice to say, look, you don't know anybody. My passion was film, and I knew I was going to go out and work in film. So they said, do some temp work through. There's temp agencies that will get you plugged into the studios. Right. So I did that. Started kind of temping for, E-Entertainment or Disney or whatever it was, and it was usually technical stuff, editing, or when it was temping, it was like answering phones. I mean, it was an executive assistant outside somebody's office door for a while, and at least it allowed us to get to know different areas,
dip your feet
people,
and
kind of start to say, okay, we have skills in certain areas, and then slowly get more and more work in those areas.
Well, and you and I both know that it's who you know. It really is who you know and what they know.
Yeah, to a certain extent, yes, yeah.
To get yourself going. So you said you always knew you wanted to be in film. What were you doing as a kid that led you to this direction?
Oh my goodness, I was the guy that always had the camcorder in his hand, recording all the family events or school events, or I was a very, very, very shy kid, and I think the camera allowed me to go places that I wouldn't normally be brave enough to go to, and I didn't have to talk because I was behind the lens.
Right. So instead of at the party, instead of walking up to visit with, you were just filming and walking around and enjoying yourself.
I could walk up to anybody and say, hey, can I interview you? But you take that camera away, and that's the last thing I would want to do.
Oh, that's funny. So when did you make your first film? I'm sure you were tinkering, or you're doing family films and whatever, but when did you do your first, like, hey, this would be cool if I put this together?
Yeah, I mean, certainly you're doing films throughout college and things like that. In 2009, I did my first feature, a movie called Scout Camp, kind of a fun direct-to-DVD thing.
Love it.
Saratov was the first theatrical film I did.
A year ago today, I left my family, my friends, and countless female admirers to come to Russia, a place that is cold, miserable, and where I couldn't speak the language to save my life.
And may your success continue through the coming year.
Nikolai, привет!
Two American missionaries are being reported kidnapped after a ransom note was found on a Russian official's door.
No, don't shoot me! No!
And I heard about that story while it happened. I was a film student, so the story happened. I mean, the event occurred.
Right.
Back in the 98 or 99. It's been a while since I made the movie. But
I do remember that having, making the news and having some, but I was kind of in the middle of.
I think that was kind of, that was it. We were all kind of on the periphery of that because it was a headline, two American missionaries. There wasn't really much known about it. And then 5 days later, the headline said, 2 American missionaries released unharmed.
There you go.
And for me, I just thought, what in the world happened between 2 American missionaries kidnapped, ransom demanded,
Yeah.
and 2 American missionaries released, no ransom paid? And I go, what happened? And so that's
Right.
what the movie, I wanted to make that movie.
And what an incredible movie. I watched it and thought, you did evoke through script, through the cinematography, through everything, you evoked a lot of truth, emotion. You could identify with each one of the characters.
Well, thank you.
Very well done.
I was so grateful that it turned out the way it did, that I had the people that helped me. You know, here I am coming off of a movie called Scout Camp, and we're making a very, very different movie.
Right.
And we were surrounded by wonderful, talented people. We were all, you know, I made it with my friends.
You're right.
My cinematographer and my producing partner and the actors. We're all hanging out together.
Very nice,
And I was
very
very,
nice.
very grateful that they were so supportive and believed in the project, and it turned out well.
Obviously Saratov, but why Saratov Approach? Why did you call it that?
The name? At the time, well, here's people don't know
Here's
this
the
story.
goods, the guts.
Yeah. So
I'm getting the guts.
as I'm sitting with Andy Probst and Travis Tuttle, those are the 2 missionaries, who they had been apart for 12 years. They had lost contact. So this is the
Right.
first time that they're back together. I convinced them to come up to Idaho, and we're going to sit down for a weekend, and they're going to tell me their experience.
Right.
And I had a yellow sheet, you know, yellow paper pad, notepad, and I'm sitting with these 2 guys that I know were kidnapped in Saratov, Russia, and I thought, okay, I'm going to just take notes on this, and that was what I wrote, the Saratov Approach.
Oh.
I don't know where that came from. I don't know what it means or anything.
This is my strategy.
Yeah.
Right.
But what had occurred to me is that throughout the movie, and I don't know if I'm just justifying a terrible title or not, but each character in this movie had a different approach to get out of this situation, whether it was Elder Tuttle, who wanted to be best friends, or excuse me, who wanted to just be 100% obedient, or
Yes.
Probst, who wanted to be best friends, or the 2 kidnappers, and it was their approach. They all have this problem.
Yes.
And the Saratov approach, I mean, that was, each one had their own approach to trying to solve that.
That is so true. That is so true. I do remember that.
So,
Do you
I don't know.
remember
I don't
that?
know if the name fits or not. We
you
did
know.
test lots of other names, and that's the one that people responded
It's a
to.
cool name. I just
okay.
wondered,
We're
you
gonna
know,
take
so
it.
now I know. Now
Now
I
you-
know the background of it. Now I understand. Okay, so you are all about faith-based films, but your films surmount that. They're not just categorically faith-based. They are renowned throughout all of the film industry. So tell me about that. How do you make that happen?
When I hear a story, I'm interested in the fact that it is a human experience full of tension and drama and suspense or joy and laughter or whatever.
Comedy.
Right, and
Yeah.
the faith is secondary to that. You know, I don't ever approach the story as, how can I make this story promote a faith message?
Right.
So I think that gives an audience access to that a little bit more easily.
Because it is the undercurrent. And studies show, people are not necessarily religious, but they are very spiritual.
Sure.
People are searching for that spiritual connection, whether they refer to it as God or whether they refer to it as a higher power or spirit or infinite spirit or the universe, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody should be able to connect. And when we watch your films, we're able to do that. It doesn't feel like proselytizing. It just feels like telling someone's story.
You know, with Saratov Approach, you know, one of the neatest things is we had a screening in Los Angeles, and Larry King was there, who's
right.
a commentator and amazing. And to watch him watch the movie, who you know, he's not outwardly a person of faith,
Right.
and yet to be so driven and impacted, and end up coming up after the movie and conducting our own little Q&A session.
Right.
And you say, okay, that's the type of stories that we want to tell, is that if it can affect a person of faith as much as it can affect
Anyone.
somebody,
It should
anybody.
affect everyone.
No, with apologies to you and to you, and to you, you stole this movie.
is there a conflict between regular film industry and faith-based, or you seem to be able to streamline it? Would you say that there's a conflict between the two?
No, I find great storytelling impacts my faith in a great way. It helps me recognize that higher power, whether it's a faith movie or not.
Right.
And again, I think that for me, it's this shared human experience that we're on, and our faith is kind of this underlying current throughout that.
Well, it used to be that faith, or whatever you want to call it, there was this spiritual thread through most of film. I mean, or if you want to call it didactic, lesson, or, something like that, it was present in all of our media.
Yeah.
And it has been carved out. And studios like Angel Studios, because people have 100% said, wow, this is hollow. I mean, we do want to watch TV and movies for entertainment purposes. I do. I don't want to have an entire agenda shoved down my throat. I am not about that. I am about just entertainment. But I do want to have something that I can connect to as a human that has a good message, something that relays goodness, and goodness doesn't have to be religious. It just needs to be filling fills our soul. It helps us to be connected, and I think that bringing that back in is what people are screaming for, which is why Angel is so popular.
Yeah.
Because they're clean. There is that ability to sit down with everyone of every age, have the same movie in front, and not have to worry that there's going to be something that just makes you walk out of the theater going, oh, I am so dark, I feel so heavy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Angel is a great example of people that have embraced that have identified that there is an audience demand for this type of content.
Yeah.
And, I mean, as discussed, I don't feel like Angel is message-driven. They're still very story-driven.
Yes.
And then we are able to take out of, pull from the film what we want to pull from it.
Yes, it is just a nice platform for people to enjoy.
Yeah.
Right? Without the muck and the guck and all of that. It's just nice. And they allow for directors and producers like you to be able to have more opportunity. It's just, it's a great system. I'm one of those people who's like, yes, please.
Yes, sign me up.
Yes, please.
Let's watch the next one.
Please.
I love it when you can look at a movie, the comments, and it's a very dangerous thing to do, to look at the comments.
Right.
But from the same movie, you can get, this movie, is so faith-driven, and then 3 comments down is like, they didn't say enough prayers in this movie. There wasn't enough faith in this movie.
Oh, there's always,
and I just love that. I love that. And say, look, that's the type of movie to say, look, that's what we want to do. Anything way too far or absent from, I think.
There's something that I watched that they did that I think that it would benefit any filmmaker is they take those comments and then they have like a moderation and discuss them. It is pretty amazing. I was like, oh, and I mean, it's not, they're not placating to anyone. They're not trying to apologize or anything. They're just like, this is an interesting comment, and this is the reason why we did that. And this isn't it, and this is the reason why, I mean, it kind of just opens up the communication between the viewer and the filmmaker, which I thought was like, that's clever.
I think it's great. I think that's one of the purposes of making film is to create conversation.
Right.
Right. If you're going to say, hey, we're going to create this piece of art, we want a conversation to occur, we should probably facilitate that conversation as well.
Right, exactly. Very, very clever. So you are award winning. I have been at Sundance. I have seen the awards that you've got a ton of them, but the ones that stick out in my mind are, of course, Scout Camp, but the Saratov Approach, Freetown, you did that in Ghana, received an award from the Ghana Film Festival, right?
Yeah, I mean, Freetown did very well. It was, in every country has their own little Oscars.
Right.
And so more than just a festival. And
nice.
The reason I'm bringing it up is because it was for screenwriting. And my screenwriting partner, Melissa Leilani Larson, just deserves such recognition for that film. She did so well, and to see her get essentially the equivalent of an Oscar
I love it.
in Ghana is so rewarding and well deserved for her.
There were several. You've done The Carpenter. My favorite is the Faith of Angels, which my late husband was able to collaborate
Yes,
with you
yes,
on
what a
that,
special-
and how grateful I
special
was to
experience.
be able to sit and see him acknowledged in the credits. I was like, oh. I have to tell you, it was very strange to watch the lead actor because I could see him in that too. I was just like, it was very strange to the whole thing. But again, and that was actually in my hometown. You know, Carbon County, Emery County area is where I grew up.
Is that right?
And so I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of know where they are, and I know what's what's going on. But that was an amazing one. You did these in different places.
Yes.
These places, what can you tell me about challenges of the filming? Right.
But I think that that's the draw. Like, that's the nature of creating something, right? There is going to be a challenge with it, and the producer-director mentality is, how do we overcome these
how do
problems?
we surmount it?
Yep.
Let's create.
Oftentimes, those things seep into the fabric of the movie, and it makes it a richer experience.
Oh, I love that. I love it. So, which one was your favorite?
All of them.
All
Don't make me
of them.
choose.
They're all his favorite.
Well, we did Faith of Angels. You mentioned that.
Yeah.
And working with Joshua was just such a rewarding experience. He came on and did a very early draft of the script.
Yeah.
Which we were very, very grateful for.
He did that in the hospital. That was something that that gave him a great amount of purpose.
Yes.
From his hospital bed, he was working on that.
Well, his heart was in the script, and you could tell. We're so grateful for that. And then, about a year later, to make that movie, I had the opportunity to make that one with my son in the cast.
And he did a great job. He did a great job.
Thank you. He did, and I'm so glad that he did. And he, the movie is about a boy that goes missing in an abandoned mine, and then 5 days later I guess they can't find him. They can't find him at all. And so that the significant part is this little boy that goes missing in the mine. And so when he read the script and read about the part, and I said, "Is this something you want to do?"
Right.
He was very wise and said, "Yeah, I'll do it, or I'd like to do it, but I don't want to do it because I'm the director's kid. Like, I don't want to get the part."
Oh.
And so it was the best.
I love that.
So
that's a pat on the back,
right?
Dad.
He changed he put together a stage name. He said, "Dad, I can do Michael Bradford or Tom Holland." Those were his stage names. All right, well, better choose Michael Bradford.
Oh, yeah, might want to. The other one's a little
That
taken.
one's taken. But then he sent a tape to our casting director under a different name. Our casting director sent me his selects, and Michael was in there. And then we had to do a live audition where, each...
Wow, kudos to you.
And I just kind of had to stay quiet, and my casting director said, "Man, that Michael kid, he's..."
Oh, kudos to you.
Yeah, it was so great. So when the casting director learned he was my son, he said, "Man, if you don't cast him, you're making the wrong movie."
How fresh is that? That you actually, that nobody, you are.
It was great. It was
that's
great.
Amazing.
So it's easy to say which one was my favorite. 'Cause, I mean, that's hard to
You
beat
know
that
what, though,
experience.
and I remember that, them battling to decide that you had two different groups. We just have to call it. We have to call it, and the other group was like, no, we have to keep going,
Yeah.
It was very well done. And again, another got your heartstrings, have you on the edge of your seats, wait, you hit all the points.
Thank you. Yeah, we're very grateful that it turned out well, and people have received it very well, and it continues. It's on Angel right now. People can stream it.
I see it all the time on my Facebook feed,
Yeah.
Faith of Angels, and I'm like, I saw that. I actually saw it at Sundance.
You had a part in it. I
Or
mean,
not Sundance, I saw it at,
Zion's.
at Ziff. Can you tell me in your own words, because you're at the pinnacle of your career, and I've listened to other interviews with you, and you've talked about how difficult sometimes it is to get the funding, to get the, how do you break that down when you're doing a film?
It is challenging. I mean, you're asking about funding, and you know, every film, again, every film is a challenge, and I feel like that there are obstacles that are always designed to stop it or to get in the way. I have not yet figured out how to easily kind of come across, hey, here's an investor and here's this and this. But I take that very seriously. If somebody's willing to invest money in a film, then we do have that obligation to be very wise and responsible and treat it like a business. The paradigm shift that I've recently had the past year is the nature of the movies that I make are faith-based. And so I feel like there are more mission-driven donors than there are willing to risk investors. So the conversations that I'm having as far as the movies now that I want to make, I think we've taken this faith-based genre, kind of this very independent faith-based genre, and we've maximized the stories that we can tell for the budgets that are recoupable.
Right.
And if my focus has to be, how do I recoup this, you know, wealthy investor? How do I make them a little bit more money? Then that focus, I feel like, is pulling away from the message of the film, or at least the mission of the film.
Right.
And so I'm making this longer than it needs to be.
Oh, no.
Essentially.
Love the details. Give us the details.
So we've started a foundation that is a nonprofit organization that allows people to donate to these faith-based films, knowing that they're going to be mission-driven rather than investments, to be quite open and say, look, if we want to tell these stories at a higher level, we need to spend more money on it. At that point, they're not, the recoupability is not as certain.
Sure.
Therefore, what can we do to mitigate that? We can say, guess what? The recoupability is not the goal now.
Right. Telling the story is the goal, right?
Imagine, I mean, if we made Saratov and we could only raise X amount of money, and it took us to 140 screens across the country. It made multiples of its money back.
Yes.
But gal, if we could have spent a little bit more and took it to 2,000 screens,
yes,
perhaps it could have made its money back, but the risk wasn't, you know, there was an unwillingness to take that risk. And so I feel like with mission-driven donors, we're able to take that risk.
Well, and times have changed. There has been a huge paradigm shift towards wanting those kind of films. It used to be at the beginning, I remember when you would hear the Book of Mormon film, or the Work in the Glory that came out. There wasn't as much of an audience, and that's when you guys were first starting and really rolling into it, right? But now people are, there's an entire Hallmark channel for the feel goods, and there's an entire Up channel, I mean, there is a market for that. So what a wise way to bring in your donors to just this is your cause. This is your film.
Yeah, there is a market for it. There's also a vacuum, there's an absence of that type. I mean, we've already talked about that, and with Angel Studios, they're helping to kind of have that conversation. But I feel like in a lot of those that are really kind of faith-driven films, there is an absence.
Your purpose is exactly what the world is needing, is to have just more of a good message, and definitely for the purpose and not necessarily the budget.
Yeah, and it's fun what we do. I mean, making movies is fun, and we've found that donors want to be a part of that. They want to. I think Angel is a great example of that, saying, hey, you guys can raise your hand and vote for the content that you want made.
Right.
Or we might be taking it a step further and say, look, here are, there are mission-driven donors that are now going to come onto set and be a part of what we're doing. And
I love that.
With each of my films, those that have invested, that's been an open invitation to come and, here's a chair for the investor, whatever, and be a part of this. And hey, we're going to go to Ghana, and we had an investor come out to Ghana with us and take pictures and selfies and things like that. And we had for Faith of Angels, we had an investor bring his family or his partner and hang out on set, and even cut once or twice on set. It's kind of, we make it a fun experience. What we do as filmmakers, a lot of people want to do it.
Yes.
Some people have the means and not the knowledge. and vice versa. I've got the knowledge and not the means.
Exactly.
So let's put those together and say, let's do this together. Come to Germany with us on our next movie, and we're going to tell an amazing story.
Exactly, exactly. And I love that you guys are creative enough to be able to figure out the payoff. There's a lot of payoffs in the world, in life, and they're not always tangible.
Yes.
Experiential tends to be trumping now.
Nobody takes their family on a dream vacation to Disneyland and comes back and says, that was amazing. How do I get my money back?
Right.
And you don't. You just go, hey.
I enjoyed myself. It was a fantastic experience. That is what people are looking for.
That's what people are going to look for.
And that's ultimately what film is. The entertainment system should be on experiential, that's how it should be based.
Yeah.
Not how can we get, we've got our agenda going, how much money can we make? Obviously, everyone needs to feed their families, everybody needs to put gas in their car, everybody wants to have as much success as possible.
Yeah.
My philosophy, though, is when you are doing the right thing, it generally comes.
It will come, or for a filmmaker to tell somebody who's been very successful how I'm going to help them have more success. That's the wrong mentality.
Oh, right.
Right. Hey, you keep doing what you're doing.
I
and then
love
come hang
that.
out with me for a weekend. We'll make a movie, and
yeah,
then you
come
go do
and see
what you do.
I do. I'm so grateful that you do what you do, so that together we can do this.
And if it makes money, great. This is the method that we are going to get it out there. I've done that 8 times where films have gotten out there. They're in the market. They're making money, and that goes back to whoever's a part of that.
Right.
But the focus can't be, laying awake at night. How do I cheapen this story and cut corners so that I can get this guy a little bit of more money?
Right.
And I say that with the utmost respect for those that invest in film. That's still a business in a market.
Of course.
Our faith-based industry, I think there's opportunity to do bigger and better.
I agree. So, what would you say is your next big project? What are you going on now? I mean, you obviously always have to have something in the pipeline.
Yes.
Right? There always has to be. And so what are you now?
So, this foundation that we started, the Help Them See Foundation, is enabling faith-based stories to be made through mission-driven donations. We're making faith-based movies. We're partnering with other filmmakers, other storytellers, to be able to connect those donors to teams that are making faith-based movies. We certainly, I certainly have a movie or a few movies that I'll do my best to make through that foundation as well, should they get approved by the board and things like that. One that I'm very, very excited about is a true story, and it's a heist comedy.
I love those, and I am not going to even feel guilty. I always want the thief to win. I always do.
Okay, well here's how we're gonna take that sentiment and apply it to a faith-based movie. So
well, okay.
It's a true story about when the Berlin Wall went up.
Okay.
There were a group of religionists that were trapped behind the Berlin Wall.
Right.
And Erich Honecker, who put up the Berlin Wall, said, in 25 years there will be no more churches, no more religion. Huh. That was the prediction. That was the purpose of the Berlin Wall.
Yeah, right.
Our story tells the story of this group of religionists that were so dedicated and faithful, but innocent. Like that, their actions became suspicious to the Stasi. So it's this little kind of cat and mouse thing. So the Stasi was spying on these religionists, trying to figure out what they were doing when all they were doing was just try to help their fellow man.
Right.
And for 25 years, they spied on him and essentially built this huge archive of suspicious activities that religious people do.
Oh.
What happened?
That is part of just their moral code.
Right. It's just your day-to-day, how do I help my fellow man? By the end of it, 25 years after this spying, the spies had so much information that when the religionists said, we'd like to build a church in your country, the spies essentially had to allow it, because they said, there's nothing that we have against you. In fact, you're kind of the only people that are who you say you are.
We like you.
Yeah.
We've fallen in love with you.
That's exactly right. So it's kind of a fun thing, but there's so much irony in the the religionists being the suspects, and
So is this a comedy?
it is
A dark comedy?
It's a comedy in the vein of like, I don't know if you saw Jojo Rabbit.
Yes.
But it's just like, it has a very unique kind of tongue-in-cheek irony.
Okay.
And you have this German accents, and they're very suspicious, like, what's he doing? We're going to figure this out. We're going to get them, and hopefully I get the promotion, and things like that. So it'll be comedic and kind of heist. There's some tension, but at the end, at the end, the good guys win.
Oh, I'm so excited. That's amazing. So I love that you are just continuing to move forward, doing good things, and that is the moral code. I think that's interesting that they couldn't break the code because it is who these people just are.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, that you can't quantify it.
Even their flaws, you know, you get to see the flaws of the religionists were, you get to see that, and that's
Hilarious.
okay.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So what would you say to people who are trying to come into this, that are, heading in, because, I mean, it's very different than 2000.
Yeah, sure.
25 years later, we've got AI. And AI is, it's exciting, but it's terrifying. Because you just kind of sit back and think, wait a minute, you can't take my face and put it on someone else's face. This is intellectual property right here, right? I mean, how strange. So what would you say to an up-and-coming, like
a filmmaker, somebody
right?
That wants to
Because you had to make your steps. What were some of the steps that you took, regardless? Some things you had to eliminate. This is not working, but there were some things that were like this. I'm going to keep doing this because I know.
Yeah.
Even with challenges ahead of me, I know I can break through the wall.
I think with any tool, be it AI or a camera that on your phone that's as good as the cameras that we had when we were in film school.
Right, that's no joke.
Editing
I've got
software,
a really good camera.
right? Each of these are amazing tools, and I think that I would tell, hopefully, and I do tell classes and groups when I speak, these are tools to enable storytelling. Like, that's the goal, and that creative endeavor, that passion.
Yes.
And AI is never going to have your passion. Right? And that's what
No.
people invest in. That's what people want to see. When you go to a movie, it's because somebody with a passion pitched the script and raised the money and made the movie.
It was human.
It was human. Yeah, and they used tools very effectively to be able to make that, whether it's CGI or typing out a script or whatever it is. But there's that passion behind the story that draws people to create it and to view it.
Well, and AI is phenomenal that it can process through every bit of information that has been
Right.
on the internet,
Yes.
But the human brain is more phenomenal. It has more capacity. It has the ability to not only process, but process it with emotion, process it with, understanding, with experience, which is individual to each human that's on the earth and cannot be replicated. And even if you do, I know that sometimes when I go on ChatGPT and I want to fix something, and if I keep going in that same thread, it starts to get like, it's just weird. And I'm like, I'm going to have to start over. Right? Because it's
ultimately you are the creator of that. You're still using this tool.
Exactly.
Right? It's just like if you're trying to saw a nail. It's not going to work all the time. Sometimes you have to use a hammer.
Right?
But
No
I use
kidding.
ChatGPT. I mean, I just before our podcast, I have we're getting ready to do a read through, and I'm saying, okay, ChatGPT, take my script that I've written, take all of the slug lines, and give me an idea of images that I could use for background on our script read through.
Yes.
That's very, very helpful, and I'm so glad that tool exists.
I agree. I've written a couple of, 5 different books, and one of them is just recently published. I had to use ChatGPT to,
There it is.
there it is, made for me. And I used it for editing, because I didn't want my voice.
Yeah.
I needed my voice to be there. My voice is very, very specific.
Yes.
And I believe each individual is the same, right? But I did the same thing with I've got a chapter book for fourth grade readers, and it's because I'm Iranian. It's a Persian myth that my dad used to tell me growing up, right? And I was able to put in, create this character. I just want a few illustrations. I believe that children should use their imaginations, but I want a few illustrations just so that they can see, maybe, and run with that. And it did phenomenal. But again, I'm like, why did you put hair on him? He's bald. My hero is bald.
Yeah.
I think he was the first alopecia guy. So literally no hair.
Yeah.
Now he's got a beard. Hello. It has its tweaks, and I'm sure that we're only getting the basic AI because, they don't, maybe the bureaucracy holds the really good stuff. I always think of like Iron Man when he's got that and he's going boom, boom.
Yeah.
Boom. I'm like,
not there
wasn't
yet.
able to do that.
We're close. We're close.
When do I get to do that, So anyway, okay, so your bucket list, this is my last final, oh no, I want to ask you about 3 Coin. I'm curious, what made you name it 3 Coin Productions? And I ask this only because I know you film people always have like either a backdoor secret or it's a joke or something that's connected, so.
It's a reference to the Frank Sinatra song, 3 Coins in a Fountain.
Oh,
And
okay.
Each coin is seeking happiness and only one will find it. And
Oh.
you would never have guessed that. Okay. All
Wow.
right. Now I'm curious what you would have guessed. But yeah, some people think it might be the budget of my movies, but
I did not think that. I thought it was connected to something along
Like
the
a whale's
lines
might
of
or
like, well, that maybe you and your buddies, whoever started, you only had 3 coins in your pocket, or you rubbed 3 coins together, or something along those. It could be anything, right? But this is fascinating. I love that.
Yeah, that's the secret that now is
See,
out
now
there.
it's out. We all know now. Okay, last question. What is your bucket list?
Gosh, there's certainly the common responses like, oh, I love to travel, and I would love to be able to take my wife and travel to areas that she'd like to go to.
Sure.
I've shot films in, what are we at, about 35 different countries now.
Wow.
And I would love to be able to take my wife to some of these and have her go on these. And there are places that I haven't been, plenty of places I have not been that I'd love to go. But I do feel a little cautious about saying like, oh, these are the things that I want to do. This is what my soul yearns for, or something like that. Just because I feel like I'm in a good spot with what I'm doing. I love what I do, and it's beyond whatever I could have imagined doing, and so for me to say a bucket list item might limit, what.
I love that. I
What's
have
out there for
never
me.
considered that before. That's a very I'm in the present kind of moment. And I think I learned that. I learned that right now, this is the only thing that I have guaranteed is this moment, right now. This is it with you. I don't know what's going to happen when we're finished. And I certainly don't have any control or power over the past or anything that has happened in the past. It is where it is, and it's cemented in history. So no changing it. Learning from it so that I can say, oh, well, whatever it is. And for me, I literally dialed all the way back to, I'm getting through this minute right now. I'm going to be fine during this minute. And no matter what, became very important, which you've already relayed, putting good out in the world, making sure that whatever, whoever, however comes into contact with me, that it is a good experience, that they go away feeling better. Like that's the purpose, and I came to understand that. So when you just said that, it became, I am not a bucket list person either. I mean, there's things I want to do. There's things I don't want to do. Like there's places I don't want to go. I do not want, I have no desire to go to really any place in Africa. I'm glad to just read about that.
This is like a reverse bucket list, like
it
the things
is,
I
or
do not
India.
want to do.
There's things, there's too, I can't at this point in my life handle a lot of suffering, but I am happy to just experience. So when my husband says, let's go do something, let's go do this, yes.
Yeah.
Let's go to, yes. Let's go eat this. Yes. You know, because those are the experiences, and those I can always have.
I love that. I love that. And it's I don't want to discount the importance of having goals and having
Sure.
aspirations and, hey, these are the things that I'd like to do.
No,
I think that
yeah.
that's important. But there is, yeah, I do enjoy where I'm at right now.
And you're in a great spot. Well, I so appreciate you accepting my invitation to come
Thank you
and
for the
have a
invite.
chit chat about you and all the good that you're doing. Garrett Batty is an amazing human doing amazing things. This is the Podcast Daily. I'm your host, Careshmeh Dean. Please like, share, subscribe. Make sure you tell everyone about it.